I was ultimately in the forest and had met the shaman. It was from that first ayahuasca ceremony, it was a pretty windy path, a pretty bumpy path over the first year and 3/4 to ultimately convincing Julio to take me into his lineage and actually accept me as an apprentice. And so that looked like living in the forest and proving to them I was very serious. And so I, ultimately worked with the local community to get a piece of land bequeathed to me that I could build a house on. Building the house myself by hand with no power tools, living really far beyond the notion of off-grid. It was as far into the forest that anyone was living upriver. For me, there were no permanent inhabitants. I was the last person living on the river. Total number of household heads where we lived were 10, and that was about 40 minutes past a native tribe. And so it was really the furthest reaches of any kind of civilization at all. And so just being out there was, I think, a big demonstration. And then after about a year and 3/4, I was finally accepted. I had an opportunity to help Julio in a very direct way. And at the end of that, he said that according to him, I had saved his life. And so he asked me what I wanted in exchange, and I asked for training. And so that's how it started. Julio then accepted my petition for training, and I was taken into formal apprenticeship.
Both Keith and I have experienced ayahuasca previously. It can range hugely. So just a little bit of background on that would be amazing.
Ayahuasca is an Amazonian medicinal plant tea made up of 2 principal ingredients: the vine of ayahuasca, which is Banisteriopsis caapi, and the leaves of the chacruna tree, which is a relative of coffee, and it's Psychotria viridis. And the combination creates a potent visionary medicine that can also have many other admixtures, but those are the 2 main principal ingredients. Basically, it creates both a altered state of consciousness and a visionary state of consciousness. And in terms of the intensity of the effects of it, as you say, it ranges widely from almost nothing to extremely intense visions through all of your senses, all at the same time, including purging, which can be physical in terms of vomiting or release, or purging in the form of defecation. Usually diarrhea, not so violent that people typically soil themselves, but enough that you have to go to the toilet because you will have a release. Temperature changes, hot and cold. Some people tremble and feel like the nervous system is awakened. And then when you move through onset, all of that is typically part of onset, which is the introduction of these very strong chemicals into the body through the plant tea, and then ultimately going into the trance state and the visionary state, which is typically held in a ceremonial kind of setting.